What's going on, everybody? Today I'm gonna be talking to you guys about one of my old videos that I posted. It's a day in the life of an accountant. So that video already has about like 3,000 views, and I've been getting like a lot of questions, and hopefully I can answer them for you today. First things first, all of my accountants, I know you go through the same struggle that I go through all the time with this one main question. That question is, can you do my taxes? No, I can't do your taxes, unfortunately. I'm actually an auditor. So there's different types of accountants out there. I know there's forensic accountants, auditors obviously, and tax accountants, and many more. But on my end, I'm an auditor. What I do is I review financial statements for public companies and some private companies. So what we do is just confirm that their balances, whatever they're reporting on those financial statements, is accurate, so that whatever investor is coming to invest in that company potentially, they see those numbers on the financial statements and they are basically comfortable with them. You know, all my auditors out there are going crazy. We don't only just do those things. We are all assigned to many different aspects of the balance sheet, of the income statement, cash flow, whatever it is. We're all different, and we do way more than just what I just said. So please, I know it sounds like I'm saying it very simple if you're not an accountant, if you're not an auditor, but that's just a brief overview of what we all accountants go through when we review financial statements. Second question. This one I get asked a lot. It's a very common question too, is why did I choose accounting? So accounting for me was, I first found it in my sophomore year of college, I think it was, and I did financial accounting, which is like a brief overview of what accounting is. It doesn't go too in depth of what financial accounting is, but I found it very interesting. And from that day on, I started taking all accounting classes, and that's when I decided to be an accounting major. I graduated from Rutgers University, as you guys can see, from the business school here in Jersey. And honestly, I loved every class. Some classes were tougher than others, but from there on, that's when I knew that I wanted to be an accountant. But that's how I got into accounting, is honestly by going to school and being, you know, exposed to all of these other terms and things in accounting that I really liked. And I was always good with numbers and math, even though that's not a key thing, since you're always using Excel. And Excel, to me, honestly, you could do anything. You could create whatever you want in Excel and it will help you. So I don't know, that's why I like accounting. Number 3. So this next question is very important in some people's eyes, and is, how much money do you make? So with accounting, I'm gonna specifically be speaking about here in New York City, because that's where I'm an accountant at. And I've heard people from like straight out of college come out making 50,000, and in better case scenarios, when you go work in a big firm in New York City for public accounting, you can make closer to $70,000 a year starting out. This is like, you are 22 years old, 23 years old, coming straight out of college, going into the top 10 firms. You can make $70,000 a year in New York City. It's not guaranteed, obviously. It all depends on what position you're going for and just the amount of candidates that are out there, but it is possible. Question number 4. So this question is a very important question that a lot of accountants or upcoming accountants would want to ask themselves, is, how is busy season? Busy season for me as a public accountant in New York City, working for a big firm, is extremely tough, honestly. We work day and night from January all the way to April, like late April sometimes. Like last busy season came all the way up to May, like almost mid-May. We worked a lot. I'm talking about coming in the office at 8 a.m. and leaving 10, 11 p.m. This is an important question for people, because obviously you're looking at blackout dates from January all the way to almost June, because it's so busy. And I mean, in public accounting, we're not just dealing with one public company, we're dealing with multiple, and we're on multiple engagements, and it requires a lot of work. And that's one thing that you may want to ask yourself is, depending on the firm that you go with, honestly, everybody is different. Not all firms work the same, but I have seen people working for different firms that they tell me the same thing, is we work day and night when it comes to busy season from January to May, and they work a lot. I know people in the Big Four working almost overnight, and they have to get hotels to sleep literally through the night to wake up in the hotel and keep working and then go to the client. So these are important questions that you may want to ask yourself is, do you mind working that many hours? And I know it sounds cynical to even hear myself. It's like, you work from 8 in the morning all the way to 11 p.m. at night. Who would do that? And it takes a different type of person, it takes an accountant to actually do it. So if you love accounting, you like to go places. I mean, you do get to travel a lot, but just remember, when you're traveling, you're not really going out to explore anywhere. So I've been to California multiple times, I've been to Florida, I've been to a lot of other places, and honestly, like, you don't get to explore. You're over there working because you're going to the client all day, then you come back to the hotel, you're beat, you just want to go to sleep to wake up and go to work again. So it's a tough thing to do, but that is I'm season in a nutshell. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's firms out there that don't work that much. So don't feel discouraged because I'm telling you that I work those amount of hours. I have different responsibilities from everybody. So it might be different for you coming in, but I remember my first year, and definitely I worked a lot. Might be the same for you, might not be the same for you, but that's something that you might want to ask. And before you go into an interview or something like that, you want to speak with somebody from the firm. If you can reach out through LinkedIn as a professional question and say, hey, how's busy season? To be honest, you know, I'm interested in your firm. I want to see what the likelihood of me coming in and enjoying this place would be, because you also want to make sure that your work-life balance is going well. Question numero 5. Do you need your CPA license in order to be a public accountant? The answer is no. For those of you that don't know what a CPA is a certified public accountant. That's when you get a license. You have to take 4 tests, extremely difficult tests, and you don't need it necessarily, like I said, but in order for you to move up the ladder and get another promotion and this and that, you need it, because as far as I know, in New York City, in order for you to become a manager, you need to have your CPA license. So if you don't have it, you're just gonna be stuck as a supervisor for most of your time, or for all your time, unless you get that CPA license. I know most firms in the New York City area, they require you to have at least 150 credits, so you're eligible to take the CPA exam. So when you go into one of these firms, they're kind of expecting you to get the CPA license. So that would be, like I said, it's not necessary, but in the likelihood of you earning more money and getting up the ranks and all that stuff, you definitely need your CPA license for a great future in accounting. And this makes you more valuable, to be honest, because I know, let's say you're applying now that you're, I don't know, 5 years in your accounting career, and you have your CPA and you're applying for a position somewhere else, and let's say another person that's running up for that same position doesn't have their CPA, but you do, you are 100%, like almost, well, not guaranteed, but you are definitely going to be a step above that person, because that CPA license, you know, it talks, to be honest. Like, if you do go for it, that's great. If you don't, just make sure you know what your goals are, whether it's to get your experience in public accounting or whatever it may be, and then go to a private company, then that's up to you. Question number 6. So this, I plugged it in a little bit just because my future accountants, I want you to know. And that question is, do you get to work from home? So the answer is yes. there are occasions where I get to work from home because maybe I have a doctor's appointment or I have a family emergency. So for whatever reason, sometimes my firm is very lenient and they allow me to work from home. That's one thing that you might want to look into when you go apply to a firm. And you know, they won't, I mean, don't ask them just bluntly, like, hey, do you let me work from home? Because that doesn't really look good. But they'll let you know if they have that available for you to work from home. For the most part, they're always going to give you a laptop. That's how it is in New York City. From what I've seen, that's like the norm. They give you a laptop, you take that laptop everywhere. That's your life, that's your baby, that has all of your work. So when there's a snowstorm, for example, I live in Jersey but I work in New York City. If there's a huge snowstorm, I can, you know, work from home because safety is key. You know, I don't, there's probably no buses, there's delays and all that stuff, and my firm understands that. So that's one thing that you might want to take into account. So all in all, I don't want to make this video too long, but these are some of the questions that I've been asked. If there's anything else, please feel free, drop it down in the comments. I answer almost every single question within hours. Like, honestly, I try to be as helpful as possible because I know there's people out there that don't know or don't know what they're getting into when they're becoming accountants. So in summary, like I told you guys, money, amazing. You will make a lot of money in public accounting, whether in private companies, depends on what your role is. You can also make some good money. Busy season is tough. Just get prepared. I'm talking, you know, 50, 60, 70 hour weeks, working through the weekends. It's a lot of hours, and just, you know, be mentally prepared. If this is something that you really want to do, it will still be, you know, a little bit iffy because you're working so many hours, but you'll be more prepared when you come into it and saying, okay, I know I have to do this. I know I have to do this for 5 months, and it's gonna be tough. But regardless, if this is something that you enjoy, it won't be as dreadful. And remember, CPA license is not required, but it is necessary in some people's eyes. Most of these firms are going to require you to have 150 credits in order for you to get hired in New York City. I know that. So they're expecting you to get your license sooner rather than later. And just know that this will add value to you as a potential employee to a firm, and it will just put you ahead of others that don't have the CPA's license. So also, work-life balance, that is very, very personal for me because I have a family, so I have to make sure that I'm home a lot so that my family can see me, you know. And during busy season, it is extremely difficult for that. But if you're coming straight out of college, you're 22, 23, early 20s, you know, you're young and you don't mind working those 15 to 17 hour days, and that's fine, that's cool too, you know. But just make sure that you're looking ahead and saying, hey, you know, in 10 years, maybe I have a family. I want to know that my firm is looking out for me and making sure my work-life balance is good. So if you have any other questions, any other comments, leave them down below. I'm usually very quick to answer those questions or comments, just so that I can help you with any questions you may have. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. I appreciate you guys watching the videos, and I hope you guys have a great day. Peace.